In this video, I'm going to give you 3 before and afters on a couple of our clients, which I hope you guys can then use as examples to build your Faire store. And of course, if you're interested in us helping you, we'll get in contact. So let's jump into it. The most important 3 things that you can fix in any business on Faire in particular are your product and listing optimizations, making sure you've got 60 characters in the product title, 3,000 in the product description, and all of the settings underneath that. Of course, then implementing a sales system. So this is going out, doing the hard work, finding the leads, and then nurturing that growth, getting those leads coming back. We always talk about getting those repeat purchases on Faire, and the 3 examples that we're about to show you focus on these areas in particular. Let's take, for example, Green Bee. Green Bee has an absolutely amazing product. They have done so fantastically well on Faire, and we're really lucky to be working with one of the largest tea towel brands in the business on Faire. But with that came some growing points from their success, and so we went out to help them with that. I'm imagining that sounds pretty similar to quite a lot of brands. You really get a couple of early wins, and then you start to get into a point where you've almost had too much success. And so what can you do about that? Well, this is what we did for them. The first part is really making sure that you've got super elevated imagery. Now, everything that you can do on Faire will also apply to all of your other sites and channels that you're selling on. And a couple of areas that we wanted to focus on in particular were bringing a bit of vibrancy and color to a very high quality brand already. We implemented some colors just to kind of get a bit more pop as you're scrolling through the different products that Green Bee has. The other part was then just kind of aligning a clean layout. Make sure that all of your product photos are the same size. Make sure that you've got real consistency throughout everything, and make sure that when you're using, for example, videos, that the videos make sense and show off the product quality that you're trying to represent. The last part that we did for them is just trying to make it as easy as possible to manage. So a couple of things that I would recommend in that respect. Have super simple folder structures so that you can give your information not just to yourself as the founder, but then people within your team. And as you start to scale, not just people in your team, but people across agencies, for example, as well, and making it that little bit step easier. I think there's a lot of room for improvement with some brands, making that step from managing really everything that they have and having everything under their own control to then starting to delegate. You obviously can delegate to yourself, you can also delegate to agencies, and it's just about making sure that you make the right call on what that level looks like for you guys. The way that we like to describe it to our brands is you are the best in the world at creating products, and you've obviously created a product and a brand. Focus on that. Don't focus on the other areas where there are better people in the world. In particular, for example, on us with Bearkind, we outsource to our Facebook and Google agencies because we just don't have the expertise to be able to get that in-house, and my team doesn't spend all day every day working on it. And that's one of the aspects that we gave to Rena, is just making it super easy for Rena to be able to focus on her business, which is making amazing products, super high quality with her mum and family, and then being able to get those out to her retailers. Obviously the results really do speak for themselves in relation to the work that we've done on Green Bee. They've got 565 plus reviews, getting up to close to 600 now as of taping. Amazing conversion rate, huge increase in traffic, and that's just because Rena has been able to focus on growing product range. Another point that I really do like to focus on for brands, as you're starting to get out to more retailers, you need to be more attractive to more retailers. Single SKU products really do struggle on Faire, and so if you can invest time in expanding your catalog, then that's really going to help. Not only did we get some incredible reviews, we were actually able to get Green Bee found through Faire on ABC, and they were on the Mark and Kelly show, which is an incredible honor and an opportunity for Green Bee. We went absolutely crazy on that sales period. It's hurt us a little bit on our Faire at the moment, but we've gone to that next level from our online store in particular as well, and all of the work that we've done. Again, make sure that it works not just on your Faire site, but also on your Shopify site. Normally people go Shopify to Faire, but once you get your Faire site into a good enough position, then you can go from Faire to Shopify. And this is what ABC found in Faire with Green Bee Tea Towel, and we were actually focused and highlighted on in the Mark and Kelly show. So huge opportunity for us in Q4, and really looking forward to a continued growth for gifting product as we continue to grow this business. The next example is talking about Float to Infuse. Gorgeous product, but like a lot of businesses, always room for improvement. One of the things that we like to look at is, okay, how many images do we have? What is the implication of the product story and how does that relate to retailers? How much more optimization can you do, and can you grow the catalog? Something similar that I mentioned with Green Bee, but also just applying that to another business. This is a fantastic business. One of the things that we really aimed to change the story on was just kind of starting to build a bit more of some improved visuals. So as you can see, we've got a new and improved logo that we've done for this business. We're focused more on the connection of gifting, in particular on recipes and then usage story or kind of how a product could be used, and then tried to bring in some of the more premium aspects. So how does this product look in store, making sure that your retailers really deeply understand what it can look like in their store, and also what is available for a retailer and what can they expect in terms of packaging, for example. So a very cutesy brand, very fun brand that has really expanded, and I think there's a couple of learnings there that most brands can take away for sure. In our first year, we are now at nearly 150 plus reviews, which is a crazy amount of reviews in the first year. The product is growing like mad. The catalog's 40 times in size. And again, kind of coming back to that point of, if you are a brand owner, focus on what you are uniquely great at. If you are uniquely great at Faire, do that. That is awesome. I would 100% recommend that. But if you are uniquely great at building new products like Samantha and John are in Float to Infuse, then focus on that. And that's what we've been able to enable them to do. And they've got an absolutely incredible product. Now let's talk about one of my favorite brands, Wild & Woman, in particular, work that Umbellina has done on creating an absolutely gorgeous brand. Slightly different setup for this. So before, relatively limited online visibility outside of the website. There was an education gap that we had to kind of fix from not focusing enough on the really great qualities of MCT oil versus alcohol-based fragrances, utilizing the incredible photography, making sure that we use that across the Faire store. This probably is going to sound similar to quite a few brands as well. What I do typically find with brands is that, in particular on the customer education gap, a lot of brands, if you ask them to describe what the product is that they do or what makes them special, they'll tell you one thing. And then all you need to do is compare that to your website. And if it doesn't show you that, then how would a customer know? Let alone how would a retailer convey that to another customer in their store? So there's a lot of opportunity there for people to focus on educating. And the real important part there is just getting super strong on exactly what your brand is and who you represent. Let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. A couple of areas that I would point you to. Number one is the FAQ imagery. And what this gives you the ability to do is inform your retailers what it is that your products represent, what they are, any questions that you would typically get. So definitely hammer on that for sure. The second part is then making sure that your stories from your product are connecting with your retailers. Your retailers are going to be sat there in store all day, every day, looking at your products. In particular, for this example, it's going to be on the counter. So what can you do as a brand to make sure that your retailers are checking out your products and then can quite quickly come up with that story when a retailer is speaking to a customer? So in particular for Umbellina, amazing business out of Laguna Beach. She has some of the absolute top tier standards in Orange County for multi-door retailers, and a lot of her store assistants in those different stores look at the product and they think about Umbellina and they connect the MCT oil to some of the gorgeous models that they've used, and really that kind of aspirational brand really sings on every single thing that Umbellina does. And so it's very easy for a retail associate to be like, oh yeah, this is Jane, or this is Naomi. I actually know the founder of this business. They had an amazing time kind of selling cocktails actually out of Newport Beach in California, and then they got into this product and they've got the most amazing smelling MCT oil, so it's actually amazing for your skin. Done. Sold. The other part is then making sure that the operational work that you're doing in your business is connecting through to top shop, in particular around your sales metrics and your post-sales metrics. So things like late shipments, replying to messages, making sure that you're always available for your retailers, and that shows from a top shop perspective. Pretty much the only businesses that I see that can get away with this is fashion, and that's because women's boutiques in particular are quite used to long lead times from fashion businesses. You're not surprised if someone does come back and say, actually this product isn't going to be delivered in this particular month, but there's not many businesses that does work for. So if you've come this far, I hope you guys have really learned a lot about a couple of different things that some businesses have done. These are across a wide variety of product categories. The trick on this is obviously everything that we would do, you guys can do of course yourself as well, but if you're looking for a bit of a hand, then I'd love to have a chat with you. We like to get in, rebuild, optimize, and then scale your stores as aggressively as we possibly can. We do love working with businesses that we can become and make into product category winning businesses. And so if that sounds like your business, I'd love to absolutely have a chat with you. Everything that we do is aimed at improving your performance. The way that we think about it is USD in versus USD out, and that's all about revenue at the end of the day on a Faire store. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then we're probably the place. And of course, if you have a great product, we can grow it across all verticals. We focus mostly on North American based clients, but we do work with other businesses around the world. If you'd like to have a chat with us, then please do get in contact. I'd love to talk with you soon. Thanks.